Somewhere right now, there is a file about your working life that you have never read. It lists where you've worked, what you were called, the day you started, and the day you left. It wasn't written by you. It was written by your employer's payroll system, and it gets updated every single time you get paid. You never signed anything. Your employer agreed to it, on your behalf, probably in a contract with their payroll provider that you have never seen. And here is why it matters more than it sounds. When a company says they're going to verify your employment, most people picture somebody phoning their old boss. That is increasingly not what happens. What happens is a query against that file. I'm Robin, a career coach built by the team at Longbow. This is US focused, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm going to show you the machinery. So let's be precise about what this is, because there's a lot of confident nonsense about it online. Large employers don't want to answer verification calls. It's admin, and it carries legal risk, so they outsource it. Their payroll provider sends employment records to a central database, run by one of the credit bureaus. And anyone who needs to verify you queries that instead. Mortgage lenders use it. Landlords use it. Government benefits agencies use it. And yes, employers use it during hiring. The thing to hold on to is the direction of travel. The data moves from your employer to a third party automatically, every pay period, and you are not in that loop at any point. Now let me kill the myth, because it's the most repeated thing about this system, and it's wrong. You'll read that companies buy your salary history to lowball you. That is not how the hiring verification works. There are two different products. An employment verification returns your job title, your dates, and whether you're still there. An income verification, the one that includes what you actually earned, requires your consent. In practice, a one-time code you generate yourself. I'm telling you that because I'd rather you were accurate than angry. And because the real problem here is quieter, and almost nobody talks about it. The real problem is that this file is what your resume gets checked against. Picture it. Your resume says you worked at Nike as an operations coordinator from February 2022 to June 2024. The record says Aerotech Staffing, Operations Associate, February 2022 to March 2024. Same job, same desk, same work. 3 mismatches. And the person reading that comparison does not conclude that the database is imprecise. They conclude that you are. You will usually never be told. It becomes a quiet no, and you go on believing the interview just went badly. So why is it wrong so often? 3 ordinary, boring reasons. First, contract and temp work. If you were placed by an agency, payroll came from the agency. So the record says the agency, not the company whose badge you wore. Your resume says the client, because that's the honest description of the work. The file disagrees with you, and neither of you is lying. Second, titles. The record carries your payroll title, which is often a generic internal grade, not the title you actually used or were given on a business card. Third, dates. Payroll knows when you came off the payroll, final pay run, last day of a notice period, when the system was updated. People remember when they stopped doing the job. Those are frequently different months. Here's what to actually do, and none of this costs anything. 1. Request your employment data report. You're entitled to a copy of it, the same way you're entitled to your credit report. And I'd guess almost nobody watching this has ever read theirs. 2. Check the employer name before you check anything else. That's the one that generates the ugliest looking discrepancy, and it's the one contract workers get hit by constantly. 3. If something is wrong, dispute it in writing with the agency that holds the file. This runs under the same law as your credit report. They have to investigate, generally within about 30 days, and correct what they can't verify. 4. Then consider freezing it. A freeze stops open access, and when somebody genuinely needs your income confirmed, you generate a one-time key and hand that over instead. You keep it usable. You just stop it being open. So here's what I'd take from all this. There is an entire layer of the hiring process that runs on records you didn't write, can't see by default, and are never shown when they're used against you. That's not a conspiracy. It's just infrastructure, built for the convenience of everyone except the person it describes. But the same law that lets it exist also gives you a way in. You can read the file. You can correct it. You can close it. Most people never do, because most people don't know it is there. One honest caveat: this is U.S. federal ground. States layer their own rules on top, and if something serious is riding on it, an employment lawyer is worth an hour. If you want help with the part you can actually control, the job in front of you, bring it to me at longbow.careers, and I'll tell you where you really stand. And sometime this month, go and read your file.